So today I'm really excited to use some new products that I just got in, and these are products from Hindash. Now, I have the original Beautopsy, and I only got that a couple of months ago, and I was so impressed with this formula, with the packaging, sort of everything about this brand, that when I saw the Monochromance, I kind of had to pick it up. And I didn't know that there were other items being released with it, and I saw those items, and I was also really intrigued, and then I saw Hindash's video, and then had to go back and buy another item. And since this is coming from Dubai and I'm in the United States, obviously buying one lipstick by itself to ship was, you know, not ideal. But when I saw Rest in Roses, like, knowing me, I had to pick that up. It's such a beautiful looking shade. That is coming, so I will do a separate review on that. But when I saw this palette, you know, if you've watched any of my other videos, this doesn't seem like it's a color story that I would specifically like because it's a lot of brights. But one of my favorite makeup sort of ideas that I learned about over the last few years was the couche de couleur method from Le Métier Débuté. And the whole point of that method is that you use sort of alternating between warm, so like these warm browns and like this warm coral, and then you use cool shades, and you alternate between the two to get a more dimensional look. And when I've used this with other eyeshadows in the past, it doesn't really look like vibrant one color. It looks like it's sort of a mixture, and it's definitely pretty like interesting, and it's not quite as colorful because you're mixing it with other shades. And this formula seemed like it really would lend itself, based on everything he said, to this method. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm actually planning to use every single one of these little palettes between blush and eyeshadow. I do have on a base. I have on Salt New York Sneaky Balm. I have the smallest amount of the Guerlain, the new 00 bronzer. If you check out that video, I just did a review of that. I have the smallest amount of that on the perimeter of my face. I did a little bit of the Pacifica brow through my eyebrows, and I have a little bit of a lip product on. So that's sort of what we're working with. We're going to do eyes for sure, and then we're going to go into this also for the cheek. I will say, when I first got this, the palette, or the little pan that I'm most excited about, is actually this purple. When I sort of swatched the in-between of the like lighter and darker shade, it looked so beautiful. Okay, so we are going to get started. I'm going to start with the darkest blue here. I'm actually gonna probably go like towards the middle. I think for my skin tone that's gonna be a good enough dark shade for me. This might be a little bit too deep, and I'm gonna put that in a wash all over my lid. So let's see if this method works with these products, and I'm gonna kind of lightly use this. It's not gonna be a very defined look. It's not gonna be like this color is in one spot, this color is in another. I just want to do a diffused wash of all of these shades and hopefully get sort of this cool warm tone that makes my blue-green eyes really stand out. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the middle of this. I'm just gonna put a little bit on, but I know people said that doesn't really have a lot of kick up. This is the A20 from the Morphe x Ariel, and I'm gonna be using that. Okay, so that was really just the softest layer of that blue, so I'm gonna go in with a little bit more. I imagine that this blue will actually just kind of neutralize some of the natural warmth that I have on my eyelids, because I do actually have pretty warm eyelids, even though the rest of my skin on my face is mostly cool. Okay, so that's like the lightest wash of that blue. I'm just gonna add a little bit more. It's definitely not a scary blue right away at all. If anything, it looks like maybe a smoky gray. I plan to use Alter and kind of blend all of this at the top, but I'm just gonna layer all of the shades over top of each other. Okay, so that's a really light wash of Forever Inked sort of mixed in between the two. And just looking at that shade right now, it's looking like a little soft gray hinting towards blue. Okay, so then we're going to go into Heart Throb, and I'm again going to go into the middle of this. This shade also looks incredibly beautiful. I'm going to layer over top of that. Oh, cool. I actually think that it definitely gives it this really interesting tone. Hopefully it's coming up in the camera. I'm trying to look in the mirror behind me to see if you can see it. but it's giving this sort of inky brown tone to it. It's actually really pretty. It's almost coming off like a purple. Like a really pretty purple. Yeah, I really wanted to try out this method with this palette because I really won't be doing like really specific stylized eye looks. For me, I like washes of color, you know, and I like that. I mean, I don't mind that it's all matte. All matte palettes are beautiful, but I just want, this is like sort of how I would use it. I'm gonna do washes of color, not, you know, a really intense eye look, right? Almost like that effortless eye look. Okay, so that's the Forever Inked underneath, and then we've got Heart and Throb. Then we are going to go to Antidote next, and we're going to go into the middle of that shade again. The shade looks beyond gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I love that shade so much. And this is going to end up being like a little bit of a smoky eye, right? Because I'm using all these tones. That color is so pretty. I really hope that that's picking up. It's really making my green eyes pop. And what's cool about this method is like you could layer different ways, right? As long as you're just alternating cool and warm, you can go in with whatever shade you want. I really think, hopefully it's showing off on camera. It's really making my eyes look super, super green. Okay, then we're gonna go into Match Made. Again, I'm gonna go right into that middle. And there really is almost no kick up on this at all. And it seems like with the Match Made, it's just toned down the purple a little bit. Okay, so that's where we are with that. Then what I'm gonna do is go into Alter. Actually, I'll go into Alter and Ego. Why not? Since that seems to be working well, and neither of these seem that dark. And I'm gonna go and blend those edges. And I'm gonna go into just the Alter again in this fluffy brush because I really want to diffuse out the top. I'm really liking this. It's ending up looking like sort of that purpley brown shade that's just really flattering and really like great for my eye shade. Okay, I think that's looking super pretty. Hopefully you can see that. I'm gonna go in, I'm trying to decide which one I want to use as a liner, but I want to go in and do, which one should I do? Maybe a little bit of this dark Throb. Maybe that'll look super pretty. You know what I think I'll do is go in with Throb and then go over with a little bit of that purple. And you can see like that Throb without that mixture is much more bright coral, or hopefully you can see that because I can see it. The mixture is certainly changing that color. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of the darker shade in Antidote. I mean, I definitely think that's making my eyes pop. Okay, so then what we're gonna do is go in with the eyeliner at this point. So I wanna try that out. This for me, like this eyeliner looks so beautiful and just a really soft chocolatey brown. So I'm gonna swatch this for you. Super creamy, super pretty. Kind of see it just draws really well. Really pretty. So I'm just gonna use this really softly on the outer part of my eye. And I'm just gonna smudge it with my finger. Just to give a little bit of dimension on that outer corner. I just want to see how this does underneath. I'm gonna start on the outer, on the bottom. It's a really nice chocolatey brown. I mean, it doesn't look like a blackened brown, you know, where there's almost like, sometimes you get dark browns and they literally just look like it's just one step off of black. This one really is, you can see that it's brown. It's getting like very smoky. I'm liking that a lot. It's making my eyes look so bright. Hopefully you can see that. I do think like the green is really standing out from that kind of purpley brown tone that we've got going on. I do like how I applied it better on this side, the eyeliner. It seems like it's smudged a little bit here into my brow, into my eyelashes, but I do like how it looks on this side. Maybe it was just the first time I applied it. Okay. So now let's go on to, I am going to top this because I have boy tears. And this looks like it'd be a little bit, let me show you the swatch. I did swatch this on my hand and it looks like it's gonna be a little too dark as a face highlight for me. As you can see, it kind of has like a dark cast to it on the side. But I think as an eye topper, I almost don't want to put anything on because I kind of love how this is looking so matte. But you know what? Let's put a little bit on my finger and go in over here on the corner. See if we can just get a little bit of glisten. And not disrupt too much of that shade underneath, right? Because that shade is so pretty. So you can make this like super sheer. Hopefully you can see that. It's like almost transparent. I think that's looking quite pretty. Yeah, it really ends up looking like it's just a hint of like a sparkle. Okay, so let's go on to mascara. I've got the Max Stack lashes, or I don't know, that's what it's called, Max Stack. So I have both the large one and the micro. So I'm gonna use the micro for my bottom lashes. I love the color that we made here. And I think like that's kind of the joy of a product like this, right? They're all the same formula. You can just layer them however you want, make it look however you want. You know, and some people will do like super, you know, specific, everything goes where it goes, but I just like washes of color. And I really just like making my eyes look brighter, right? I think my eyes are looking so green and so pretty. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, Let's put some of the micro on. I'm looking in the mirror and that's where I can see the reflection of this. Okay, so then we're gonna put a little bit of blush and then we will be done. So for blush shades, I have to try the Antidote shade. I'm gonna use the like anti part of it though, the lighter side, and then a little bit of that heavy petal as well. I'm gonna go into both of these lightly, but that's just how I would do this specific look. Okay. So I'm gonna get a little bit on this brush. This is the A22. It's such a soft pink. I mean, I used almost none, but I really want just a little bit. Oh. Hopefully you can see that. That looks really pretty. I do like that the sheerness of it like shows my freckles through. Excuse me, that's looking really pretty. Okay, and then the last thing we're gonna use, because I'm obsessed with it right now, is this is the, oh, what is this? Flower Nose Revelation highlighter. And I'm just gonna go in with this because it's so pretty. If you've never seen these before, it's like so gorgeous. So I'm gonna tap off my brush because these are very pigmented. Hopefully you can see that. Wow, it's so pretty. I'm trying to use, there's like one little spot on this highlighter that doesn't have any writing or ornateness, and I'm trying to just use that. This is so pretty. Just to give a little extra glow. Okay, so hopefully you can see how pretty that is. That is such a pretty highlighter. All right, so what I think I'm gonna do really quick is to show you a couple swatches, and you can kind of see in action what I'm talking about with the whole idea of like layering these versus just wearing them on their own. So let me pull up my sleeves. So if I go into, for like instance, if I go into Forever, right, Forever Inked, and then I go into this middle shade, okay, and you see the blue there, and then I go in with Heat, or what is this, Heart Throb, and then I go over that, and then I go in with Antidote, and then I go in with Match Made. Like, that's the look I just got. But you could do the reverse, right? So you could go in with Match Made first, then you could go in with, I forgot which one I did next, Antidote. I'm like reversing it. So you could go in with Antidote, and then you could go in with Heart Throb, and then you could go in with Forever Inked, and it would give, like, honestly a different tonal look, right? So this is the look I just did, that's the other one, and it gives like a different subtlety, a different depth, look a little bit darker. So you really could layer these in a lot of different ways. I mean, those are the ways I would layer it, and I'm really happy with how this looks. Hopefully you can kind of see that eye. I think that looks super pretty. I could see this wearing anytime that I just want to make my eyes look super green, super blue. So that's it for that review. I have more reviews coming. Hopefully you like that. Let me know if you have any comments. Okay, bye.